Welcome to the channel, guys. Today, let's talk about Iran and what's happened in the last, week and a half, especially the last 24 hours. Before I get into it, appreciate if you'd like, share, and subscribe. It's a huge boost to the channel, and I totally appreciate it. All right, I've got a couple of videos for you, one of the president, a couple of strike video footages, and also I think I have a handle on what's actually going on here. So stick with me because this isn't going to be just an average video. I think I know what's the president's strategy here is. Let's start with the president with yesterday with the NATO in Turkey getting asked a question by a reporter.
Over. Is the ceasefire done? Is the MOU dead?
It's a very interesting question. To me, I think it's over. I don't want to deal with them anymore. They're scum. You know what scum is? They're scum. They're sick people. They're led by sick people. And they're vicious, violent people. And if they had a nuclear weapon, they'd use it. As far as I'm concerned, it's over. I'll speak to our negotiators. They want to negotiate. They're good people. Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner. But they have to come back to me. As far as I'm concerned, it's just a waste of time dealing with them. They're liars. We make a deal. And if I make a deal with him, we have a deal. And he goes out, he talks. We make a deal. Everyone's agreed. No nuclear weapon. We make a deal. They go outside, talk to the press. They say, we never even talked about it. There's something wrong with them. They're cuckoo. As far as I'm concerned, it's over.
Talks won't resume after we get through the funeral proceedings. Does this mean that talks with Iran will not resume?
I don't care. They can talk, but I think they're wasting their time. They're a bunch of lying guys. I do my whole life. That's all I do is deals. My whole life that's how I became president. I guess that's a deal too, right? But I made a lot of money. I had a lot of great success, tremendous success. Everything I did, I was successful. And I deal with these guys, and I say, this is from a different school. They're liars. They're cheats. They're sick people. They've hurt their people. They killed 54,000 people as of now that were protesting. You know, when people say, how come they haven't taken over? They can't take over because they're dead. They killed them. Nobody's going to take over. They have no guns, and the other side has machine guns. And they're killing them. The press doesn't report it. But they're bad people. They're bad people. And frankly, I don't want to waste my time with them. Now, I'll let our wonderful negotiators keep talking if they want, but I don't see it. I don't like these people. You know that? I like him. I like the leaders. I think all of these leaders.
Great. And they love.
I think they didn't treat the United States fairly for many years, but that's okay. But they're sane, rational, good people. Most of them. I don't like a couple of them, to be honest with you. But there are a couple I don't like much. But I like Erdogan. I'll tell you. I like.
That is beautiful. I love how Trump is so direct. So CENTCOM didn't hesitate. They launched 80 strikes in a very short period of time. They sunk 60 fast boats. They hit air defense, command centers, coastal radars, anti-ship missiles, and dozens of the small attack boats that are causing the problems that have hit a handful of tankers in the last week. And you have to understand that is Iran's leverage point, the Strait of Hormuz. For the last 47, 50 years, that is their bargaining tool, that they controlled the Strait of Hormuz. So there is a method to what Trump is doing. Let's start here. The peace deal, the memorandum of understanding, was always a trap for Iran. We know that they aren't going to be faithful to it, and Iran walked right into it. Let me put a tweet up, which I think says a whole heck of a lot. So Miss Zineb Rabuza says, I'm 100% skeptical of peace deals when it comes to the IRGC and regard them more as stops along the way where the U.S. buys time either to build up its military presence or to give the energy market room to breathe. Happened before, will happen again. Now, that is 100% on point. What happened in the last 24 hours is always the plan. We reloaded, we repositioned assets in the Gulf, third carrier group, marine expeditionary units. Meanwhile, the energy markets, with this memorandum of understanding, were given time to stabilize. Oil prices came down, $25 a barrel. Iran, like I said, they've been playing the same card for 50 years, the threat of closing the strait and causing stagflation across the entire Western world. The strait is their source of leverage. The more that Iran closes the strait, the more they bear not just the military costs, but the monetary costs. One of the first things that the regime is consuming itself. They're fractured. Okay. Aragachi was chased by a faction of the IRGC the other night that were shooting at him. That's crazy. And they've lost the capacity to close the strait. They're finding out that the military and monetary consequences on them are dire and promise the eventual end of the Iranian regime. Trump is degrading their military, pausing to reposition and reload, and allowing enough rope for the regime to hang itself. One of the first things he did was cancel the permission he gave them to sell oil. So they're being militarily crushed and they're being monetarily crushed. And they walk right into this trap. And everyone knows it. If you remember the videos I made several weeks ago, I was like, I don't know what good it's going to do to make this deal because they're going to violate it. Everyone knows they're going to violate it. And I think it was all part of the plan. Like you heard the president say, they hit Kashmir Islands, Surak Island. They crushed all of that in the strait yesterday. And they have very little ability to project power. And they have no ability to take in money from their oil revenue right now. So how long this regime can carry on is, that's a real question. Let me show you. I'm going to show you a couple of short clips of us hitting them. These are from last night. These are fast attack boats. A couple of them sitting together. Hellfire missiles. Boom. They won't be laying mines anymore or shooting at ships. All right. One more. So when Trump says he hit him 20 times harder last night than any time during the memorandum of understanding, he wasn't exaggerating. And again, he pulled the ability for them to sell oil on the open market. He revokes the oil sanctions waiver. Monetarily, they're being crushed again. So Iran walked right into this trap. And we may see a series of this going on, even several more times, where they make a bad faith deal, shoot at ships in the strait, have to be pummeled again. But eventually, they will capitulate and Trump's strategy will work and oil prices will drop down to where they were in 2021, maybe not to $1.50 a gallon, but not far off from that. That's what I would predict is what's coming out of all of this. So well worth it. Evil regime kills people indiscriminately. Wanted to bring you guys this update. This is what's going on in Iran. You heard the president. Have a wonderful day. God bless.